What's going on, fellow zombies and internet people out there? How you doing? Diary Griever named John Weaver, which is me. Yeah, it's me again. How am I doing? My foot's still killing me. Am I right? No debridement yet. I had to cancel out the appointment yesterday because we had no hot water for the entire weekend. And I had no hot water to shower. Now, I've got the hot water. They finally fixed the pipes. Gas leak fixed. Noon today, which is the 23rd of June, 2026. They finally got hot water. So I'm able to cook and get a few things washed up. And what I've been doing is listening to what's been going on in the Trump world of him losing his fucking mind, another case, trying to make a reason for him to have another insurrection. If or when, in 2 years from now, we actually have Trump losing again, or not able to get back in, he'll do an insurrection. But it's this November that I think people ought to be more worried about, because he's still trying to force issues through the court systems of making sure he's got the votes rigged one way or another. Either he's got security over there, either he's got people in position, whatever he's trying to do to make this a crisis one way or another. He's getting sued left and right, and he's losing the lawsuits left and right. But he's not going to stop until he gets his way until November. And then even then, he might declare the whole November elections false and rigged, and he's still the president. Well, it's not presidential. What the midterms do correct is anybody. Well, let's see. These guys have cycles concerning about Senate and Congress. Congress is usually every 2 years. So every 2 years, their Congress people always have to keep running to keep their stuff going, and they want to keep their offices left and right. They have to keep running, and they have to keep getting money to keep going, and keep passing bills that's going to make sense to the public, or maybe not make sense to the public. Senate runs every 6 years, and every one of these guys have their own 6-year cycle. They run every 2 year cycles, basically. Every 2 years we'll get a new senator coming in, or another group coming in. Presidential elections will have another group coming in. I mean, they constantly do that for the Senate. It's not, I don't know, it's not like one huge block. It's usually little chunks here and then chunks here and chunks there. And he's still trying to affect the elections on those agencies. It's just, I can't talk right. I am so screwed up with this Trump nightmare. Freddy Krueger would laugh his ass off regarding the dreams we would have over this. But, see, the reality of it is going to be worse than the dreams. Dreams we can try to escape in. But the reality is they still face persecution for minor things such as putting a toe in the reflective pool. The Lincoln Memorial Reflective Pool was created at the beginning of the 1900s to commemorate Lincoln and reflecting a lot of things about our country, democracy, what we stand for. It's basically, you look at it and you see yourself reflection in it. And supposedly there was supposed to have been ducks hanging around it, not dying. Because of what Trump did to the water. I mean, first he wants to get the place turned blue. Drains the water. Resurfaces, has a group just half-assed job on it. Oh, that'd be my dog. Give me a second. I gotta bring her over here. Turn the news off so I can deal with the constant Trump thing going on. He's trying to lie, cheat, steal, and gain everything he can for himself and for his cronies. One thing I discovered on one of the news cycles, I really didn't think it was. There was some kind of Hare Krishna guru out there brainwashing people. And Christine William was one of those. She used to be, I think, the South Dakota governor until she wanted to gain power. So she got Trump's a favor during her time in office in the state, agreeing with him all the time, kissing his ass one way or another, and then finally getting into his harem. But being a controlled, manipulative woman all her life, apparently, they got stories coming out in different newspapers concerning about her being controlled by this guru. And somewhere I think I got a new story of a copied PDF somewhere about it. I'm thinking to myself, only people like that would be. They want to be brainwashed. Let them. I mean, shit. They're going to be declaring this guy daddy, and you have to do what daddy says. I'm like, give me a fucking break. It's bad enough when I get hearing other people wanting. I gotta get this damn lid off. Give me a second here. These other pastors who are still forcing people to think, or actually women to think, that they are no longer valid human beings. They are only birthing centers, and you feed the husband, and that's about it. But who takes care of the kids? Well, the mother's supposed to be taking care of the kids. Mothers don't get jobs. Mothers don't get freedom. They don't get a chance to vote. They don't get a right to vote. And we got people who are in Turning Point doing the same shit. Telling people the same exact bullshit. Well, the Bible says, the Bible says, the Bible says. Which portion of the Bible? The Bible! There's usually two major portions of it, the Old Testament and New Testament. The New Testament usually covers Christ's journey, his teachings, and then the after effects. But Christ was never jumping on people's throat or telling women that you're not worthy of anything. But the Old Testament they always keep going through because this is the most important form for every controlling freakazoid out there. For one, you can't say anything. You can't whine about it. No, you cannot whine about it. You cannot whine about it. I will torture your ass on this one here. She's whining because her damn vertigo is getting her crazy. That's why. But if she was a regular woman, would I be that crazy enough to do that to a person? What are you doing? Sit down on the ground, let you whine. Come on, you gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, grown yourself, old woman. 20-year-old bat. I don't want her to start knocking over shit left and right. But I do want her to go pee all over the place, which pads are. Just not getting her head stuck in anything else. Could I do that to a regular woman? Force her to be something else that she isn't born for or wanting to be? Do I have need, want, desire? What would I do to make sure I would have total compliance with a woman? I gotta listen to some asshole telling me about the Bible, telling me I have to do these things because the Bible said so? The Quran says something else. I don't know what, but it says something about women as well. But for some people, they have different interpretations of what the Quran is. And they get hostile if you say it in the wrong way, wrong fashion, or even talking about it, period. Very spiritual, very deep book. But a lot of back and forth on that one. There she goes her lunch again. All over the place. At least the plate's not breaking just yet. She's just struggling with what she's got right now. trying to get rid of her vertigo. But I'm going to tell a full-grown woman who can't be this way because I said so, and because my pastor, who believes in this particular form of fashion, says the Bible tells him to tell the people to make me tell you that you have to do it this way because and fill in the blanks all over again to do this rat race. When I was born, I had a biological sperm donor. I had a brother who was 8 years older than I was. He had almost a male figure in his life, but lost that one. And a female mother. He did, for a short time, have male and female. An aunt and uncle raising him a little bit while Mom was trying to take care of a few things until she gained custody back. Long stories on those. But for the most part, my brother was raised under my mother. And so was me. I was raised under ladies. I had a biological sperm donor. Did a hit and run on my mother off the coast of Catalina. A year later, I popped out. Imperfect as hell, crooked limbs, months too early, and a Holy Heart with plumbing issues. When he found out my mother was pregnant, he hid. When he also found out about my own heart conditions, he was never part of the family. He ducked. He was there for the thrill of it, and he ducked. I hated his ass ever since. Right after my heart surgery, and short story on this one here, but I'll get to it in a minute. I called him up after my heart surgery about a year later. He hangs up on me. I identified myself as his son. That's why he hung up. Ma had the guy's phone number. And I kept haranguing me, Ma, about how come I never have a dad. There was a boyfriend that my mother had for a long while that saved my life. But there was a thing happened, and it caused the relationship to break up. And I didn't have a dad. Down the road after Mom passed away, we found the guy. We found the boyfriend of Mama's. We sobbed, we cried, we made amends. Didn't see him afterward. Passed away afterwards. Stan Myers, God rest his soul, God bless his soul. The other guy's name was Jack Weaver, but he changed it to John Weaver. I don't even know what the hell is it. Oh, actually I didn't know. Middle name was Elmo. Never did like his name. Took out the E. Made him turn into something that he didn't like. Probably he was something that I don't even know if he was or not. But all I know, he was a biological sperm donor. He was never a father, never a dad. He just donated, and that was about it, and ran off. Coward. I think fear in his own stupidity made him do things like that. If I could have talked to the guy to see what the hell was going on with him, but I never was able to connect with this guy. Gone long ago. I can either forgive him or not forgive him. I forgive him. Because I need to make peace with myself concerning about situations like this regarding deadbeat dads. I should have been talking about this one on Father's Day, but I wasn't. Other things were happening that meant more. And I think that is a story I'll tell another time. I couldn't stand deadbeat dads, and I still can't stand the guy who claims he's a dad, and he's got all these people who are just like him, popping them out like clones, growing up as clones, con people left and right. First name, actually their first initial and last name is T. Last letter is P. I think you can spell that one, what's in between. Doesn't matter which generation it is, doesn't matter what sex it is, they are just as screwed up. But coming across different people who want control of women, left and right. I said before, I was growing up under a woman, and my grandmother, and an aunt. I did have male influences in my life. I did have male influences. I always had a big brother. And we grew up under women having rights and talked about the rights and talked about suffragettes. We talked about women's movement. We didn't talk about it 17 or 1800s, like that kind of stuff. We didn't have that kind of information. But the stories that came out of my mother from our grandmother and aunt who were suffragettes back in the early 1900s. And they dealt with women's rights movements. It made me feel pretty special about that one, because there was history. There was history. They fought for their independence. They fought for their equal rights amendments. They fought for their right to vote, to be heard, to be counted, to be put into Congress, to be put into offices, to run for the President of the United States if need be. Yeah, I got no problems with women leaders like that. I don't have any problems with women prime ministers or chair people, or even a dog is driving me crazy right now who needs my attention. Give me a moment. And I got to deal with her at night. She's getting older, a lot older. She's got more vertigo happening. Middle ear issues like crazy that they probably couldn't search the Fisk unless it's going to be costing me more than what I have. And I would have to find the money, which I don't have, or put her under, which is going to be the hardest damn decision that any pet owner would have. That she's family to me, and I don't do euthanasia very well. So I got to hold on and deal with her for a time. 20 years dealing with this bite in the butt female, old, blind, deaf, stubborn as hell. She doesn't want to give up on life, and she just wants to be more of a pain in the butt. And she is getting old and decrepit and moly. Moles here and there. But she's doing what she's doing. Being a pain in the butt. And she's going to argue with me about it. Much like my mother would argue with me concerning about political situations that I put myself into, just to have an argument just to see where the hell she was coming from. If I really wanted to get a point on something, I'd take the opposite point of view of what she had, and then dig at her, and then she comes at me. And then I finally figure out what the hell she's talking about. I miss days like those. When they're talking about getting rid of women's rights, I've heard them in the court, in the videos out there, the reverends, the pastors, the clergy out there who want to control women. No, it's not the religion, it's not God, it's not Jesus is doing it. It's male ego, guys. That's all it is male ego. And if you can't understand that one, well, I don't know what the hell's wrong with your brain cells. I don't get it. You guys want this, you guys want that. Well, you just want to have fun and think you run the world? Give me a fucking break. What do you think the women were made for in the first place? Not just procreation and doing whatever you said. No, they got rights. Just had to take men long enough to figure that crap out. And they keep thinking that God's only in charge because men are in charge and whatever kind of bullshit they come out of their mouths concerning about the Old Testament. Give me a fucking break. And this is what pissed me off when I keep hearing about that Turning Point videos they kept showing, where these 3 young girls who were teens and 20s who hadn't studied history, didn't bother to study history, didn't want to study history. They wanted to listen to some other con artist telling him what the Bible said and what this was supposed to be and that's supposed to be, and this is what you're supposed to listen to. And I'm listening to what they're talking about, and I'm thinking, oh, give me a fucking break. And this is the shit that you guys are having issues over? A grieving widow should have been in the grief, but right now she picks up the bullshit from Turning Point, and she goes after people left and right. Well, let her have fun. She wants to start chasing dragons. You ever heard of the story about the Man of La Mancha? One thing about that guy, he was noble. In a town where nobility was gone, chivalry dead. But he read so many stories about the knights previously doing deeds. I think the story was out in France. I think well before the French Revolution happened. But it was a story concerning about a guy chasing windmills, thinking of dragons. Let's have fun. And his caretaker had been trying to keep a lid on him for a long while, trying to keep him on a leash. Can't. And he also sees this town's young woman in there and captures this old person's heart. He would do anything for her. It's not the aesthetic beauty. He was looking at the more than just the outside. She was called something else, but he called her Dulcinea. Now, I remember watching Peter O'Toole video on the play 2 days straight in English class back in high school. And we were doing English literature, or actually we were doing literature, and watching this and listening to it, and then getting a book at a library and reading it, school library for that one, and just, I'm like, whoa. Things like that stuck in my head as a kid. That meant something to me. That meant something to me. He was considered a fool and an idiot. Well, I'm a fool and an idiot. Am I chasing windmills? No. Am I burning windmills down? No. But am I trying to piss off everybody else? I don't know, am I? But am I pining for a Dulcinea there that might win my heart before the guy passes away? In the story, the guy did pass away. But he won her heart, and she got his, and for a brief moment of time and space and of existence. It was very romantic. And he didn't do anything but respect her. Respect her a great deal. But I'd seen people these days talking about lack of respect on a constant basis. I was raised to respect people. I may not appreciate their damn opinions, but only if my own pride is going to get hurt at this point because if I allowed it to do, or my own ego to run the whole damn thing. So I can tell them that my ego is better than yours and I want it my way. Sorry, I'm not living in the world where I have to do a Burger King crap. Long ago, where you can have your burger your own way. If I want my burger my own way, I got a frying pan and I got a burger and I got a few things I can throw in the damn thing. I bet I may not have it perfectly or cooked the way it should have been. I'll just have it cooked one way or another. But that's when I'm talking about things I'm dealing with these days. And what's controlling factors? She wants everything. She wants 24/7 out of me. You guys try doing that one. But this is me. I'm going to be putting her down and driven crazy by a mutt. That being said.